sad. Under 50,000 miles on this Kia, and has basically burned up 3 quarts of oil in 3,000 miles. And this is what I've been telling you guys about. If you listen to the manufacturer's oil consumption rates that they say are normal, you're just destroying your engine. We're trying to get this engine back to life, but I don't know. This is going to be the second Valvoline Restore and Protect. And then you can see how dark the oil is coming out. That's 3,000 miles with a high quality Valvoline Restore and Protect. The engine oil that comes out of my other vehicles does not look like this with near 300,000 or under 200,000 miles and over 300,000 miles and 3,000 miles, just to give you an idea. So I'm going to tell you, barely a quart of oil came out of here. The oil light was on and she's just over 3,000 miles. But you can see that, how much deposits are in that oil. And hopefully it's just breaking up all the sludge. 48,000 miles. Extreme oil consumption. 1 quart every 1,000 miles is ridiculous. What do they expect the average person to weekly check their oil? They do. But are they going to do it? No. And this is what you get. So I'm going to keep tabs on this. This is the second oil change service in our care. And typically by 4 would tell me if this engine is salvageable or if we need to really go up in some thicker weight and winter and viscosities. I got to catch myself. So many crybabies out here when I say weight. So we're in South Jersey. We don't have to worry about negative temperatures unless we have a really
gnarly
anomaly disaster winter, which is probably never going to happen.
We're supposed to have a pretty good one this year.
It doesn't mean we're going to see under 0 temperatures.
I agree.
Yeah. Typically we dip into the teens, but not low teens.
Yeah, sometimes we'll get into the single digits and we'll get wind chills in the negatives, but we won't get true negative
So for our area of the world, I don't believe 0, 8, 0, 16, or 0, 20 is really worth the damage, potential damage that it could do to your engine. Right here in our area, I would say a 5, 20, 5, 30, 10, 30, 10, 40 is a great. But we did have a spec chart that came up and actually said 1540 performed well in our area based on climate too.
In the summer.
Yeah.
In the winter, you should be moving down.
Yeah. But that's where it's at. So you can see, letting this thing drip dry. And look how disgusting that is. My F-150 never looked like that. My Sequoia never looked like that. Does your oil look like that when you drain it?
Mine's pretty dark, but that's because...
In 3,000 miles, yours is this bad?
That's why I'm grabbing the light to see exactly what.
Oh, dude, that's on a white filter. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You can actually just see the sludge.
Mine doesn't get that dark.
Not sludge, but deposits. That oil can't hold any more deposits.
My oil.
For the amount of oil that's left.
My oil's pretty dark at 3,000 miles.
That's pretty bad. That's crazy.
But it's also high fuel dilution.
This is a GDI engine just like yours. Not boosted though.
Exactly. I have a boosted GDI engine, loose ring gap for both me and boost.
And this is a VVT motor, and a lot of guys are like, oh, these new engines, the tolerance is tighter. I put 2050 in people's cars with no issues.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't realize is by the time you're at 30,000 miles and you've changed your oil, we'll just go with the rule of thumb, 8 to 10, you've changed your oil 3 times. Your engine has so much mechanical wear based on facts that if you would have just used a better oil whole entire time, you could have reduced the wear and almost eliminated oil consumption or got it way under control. 2050, and actually in a multiple different engines, GM Ecotechs, Hemi 5.7s, a bunch of other vehicles, Hondas. No one ever came back and had a problem with check engine lights from us using double or triple the recommended oil winter and viscosity. Nobody. And if they did, it's because the oil consumption is so bad that it
clogged VVT.
Clogged the VVT because of the sludge that's inside of there. Or the catalytic converter had clogged because there's so much oil consumption. But typically we don't see anybody back with an engine issue.
Because we're moving up weight.
Because we're moving up in weight.
It's because of the sludge that's already there from
from all the wear and deposits and metals.
From their poor maintenance practices.
Poor maintenance practices. And that's all stems from your dealership and your service advisors. And don't think that if you have an internal mechanical failure while the vehicle's still under warranty that they won't cover it. they don't want to see you back with an engine failure to say. Out of warranty they do so they can get that money. But in warranty, they don't want to see you back. They know that the minimum oil changes you're doing is just enough to get you out of warranty, and they can keep shaving your wallet every time you come in. That's crazy. That Hyundai that I looked at that had 45,000 miles on it, almost every time it was at the dealership, that it was $1,000 in repairs.
I'm not surprised.
40,000 miles on a car with no rust, they put calipers on. Customer paid. They stayed on top of like the filters and like all the recommended maintenance, but no wonder they traded it in. They probably thought like this is a bad car. Every time they go in, it's $1,000 in repairs at 40,000 miles. And the dealership's not cheap at $220, $250 an hour. And then add in your parts. It's crazy. But yeah, I've never had any issues. And my son's brand new Kia, we use 530 synthetic blend, and we upped it from 3,000 to 4,000 miles because of the color of the oil. Was still really, really good at 4,000 miles.
You didn't work on Friday?
No, he wasn't here. Nope, he wasn't here. So we were watching the vehicle from 0 mileage to 3,000. I was like, all right, we'll change the oil for 3,000 miles. Getting an idea how that engine, oh, here we go, I thought it wasn't recording. How that new 2025 Kia engine performs non-GDI, non-turbo. And at 3,000 miles, it was still clean. That was the OEM fluid. And then we changed the oil at 6,000 miles, and I said, wow, it's just as clean as the OEM fluid using a synthetic blend. And that was up in weight and winter and viscosity from the OEM spec, which is 0 issues with the engine. And then I said, all right, but next oil change was 9,000 miles. I said, we're going to push it to 10. We're going to go to 4,000 on that one. I said, just drive it another 1,000. I want to see what it looks like. And the oil was still clean, barely turning colors. I'm like, all right, this engine really likes his driving habits, the fuel he's using, and we probably could go 5,000 miles on our synthetic blend in his engine, but we're going to keep it at 4 because I know that's like the sweet spot for his car. But these cars that have oil consumption and high fuel dilution, Kayla will tell you, you push your oil 5,000 miles.
Oh no, yeah, it's not good.
You might as well be just lubricating your engine with gasoline.
When I drain my
That's
oil,
a 19 Honda 1.5 turbo.
Yeah, when I'm draining my oil at 3,000 miles, it smells like fuel. It doesn't smell like oil anymore. High fuel dilution. I like to drive my car, so I mean, I'm having fun with it. I'm not beating the absolute crap
Yeah,
out
well,
of
what
it.
would a 5 or 7 or 8 do to the inside of that engine?
It'd probably be terrible.
Right. It won't cause enough mechanical failure for you to notice right away, but it will slowly creep up with oil consumption and
And my
sludge
car
and
only-
carbon deposits.
My car only holds 3.6 quarts.
Right. So
oil.
there's really not enough protection rolling around in
No.
that engine.
No. So I moved up to a 530.
Hold on, but under the guidelines of 1 quart for every 1,000 miles.
Yeah, you're at 0.6 quarts at 3,000 miles. You're getting an oil light and significant mechanical
Yeah.
wear.
Perks bills?
Significant mechanical wear.
Yeah, I moved up from an 020 full synthetic up to a 530 full synthetic, and I never did an 020 full synthetic oil change on mine, so I don't know what the difference is really looking like, but I have 0 oil consumption, still high fuel dilution, but it's also a turbo GDI engine.
The wear metals that you don't see because your engine is wearing, right?
Yes.
You're trying to prevent that. Fuel is not a lubricant.
No, no.
We'll report back with this car. So this is going to be the second Valvoline Restore and Protect. We're going to go from a 520 to a 530, and then I'm going to see what it's like in 3,000 miles. Hopefully we see some improvement by the 4th oil change. Thanks for watching.